What if I told you that Donald Trump's path to the White House may have begun in Moscow, 1987? A young real estate tycoon, an unexpected Soviet invitation, and a trip that would spark decades of speculation. Was Donald Trump just a businessman looking for opportunities? Or was something far more sinister at play? This is the story of Trump's secretive Moscow visit, the KGB's possible involvement, and the theories that suggest this trip changed American history forever. The year is 1987. The Cold War is at its peak. The US and the Soviet Union stand on opposite sides of a global chessboard, each vying for dominance. But the Soviet Union is struggling. Their economy is faltering, and Western businesses represent a glimmer of hope. A rising real estate mogul in New York City, Trump had already made a name for himself with luxury skyscrapers and casinos. But he wanted more. According to multiple accounts, Soviet Ambassador Yuri Dubinin took a special interest in Trump. Over a private dinner, Dubinin reportedly flattered the businessman, praising his hotels and suggesting that Moscow could be the perfect place for his next big project. In July 1987, Trump accepted the invitation and boarded a flight to Moscow. He was accompanied by his then-wife Ivana and was treated like a VIP from the moment he arrived. He was given a tour of the city, wined and dined by Soviet officials, and even stayed in the prestigious National Hotel, just a short distance from the Kremlin. But according to intelligence experts, his visit was anything but ordinary. Many believe that this trip was orchestrated by the KGB, the Soviet intelligence agency, to assess whether Trump could be cultivated as a long-term asset. One of the most controversial theories surrounding this trip is the compromat theory. Former Soviet intelligence officers have claimed that Trump's hotel suite was bugged, with hidden cameras recording his every move. Some even speculate that the KGB set up a classic honey trap, luring powerful Western figures into compromising situations to later use as blackmail. Was Trump aware of this? Did the Soviets obtain compromising material on him? We may never know. But what happened after his return to the United States? Only shortly after returning from Moscow, Donald Trump did something unexpected. He took out full-page advertisements in major US newspapers, criticizing America's foreign policy and arguing that the US should stop paying to defend its allies. This was a dramatic shift. Before this, Trump had rarely spoken about politics, but suddenly he had strong opinions on international affairs, opinions that some argue mirrored Soviet talking points. One of the headlines read, "America should stop paying to defend countries that can afford it." It was strange. Trump had no political experience, yet suddenly he was positioning himself as a geopolitical thinker. Some wondered, was his Moscow trip a turning point? Then, something even more surprising happened. Trump, who had never been known for careful financial management, suddenly secured massive loans from 16 banks and purchased the Plaza Hotel for $407.5 million, without even negotiating the price. The real question is, where did the money come from? And why did so many banks suddenly approve loans for a man who was known for aggressive spending? Decades later, Trump would run for president, often praising Russian President Vladimir Putin and pushing for closer ties with Moscow. Some intelligence officials believe this 1987 trip may have been the moment Trump was marked by Soviet intelligence. Could it have been part of a long-term strategy by Russian operatives? The 2016 US election saw multiple allegations of Russian influence. Could this have been the culmination of a relationship that began nearly 30 years earlier? So, what do you think? Was Donald Trump's 1987 Moscow trip just about real estate? Or was it something much bigger? The truth remains locked behind Cold War secrets. But one thing is certain. This trip was no ordinary business visit. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more investigations into the hidden stories of history.